Oh Lord, it's good to be here with you. Listen, I need to tell you something that's gonna make me sound like a complete idiot. But that's alright, because we're all in this together. A few years back, I thought I had cracked the code on showing people I cared. I had this whole system, this whole routine where I'd nod at the right moments, say things like, I totally understand, and that must be so hard for you. And I genuinely believed I was nailing it. Spoiler alert. I was not nailing it. Not even close. In fact, I was doing the exact opposite of showing genuine care. And people could smell the fakeness on me like cheap cologne at a high school dance. Imagine this. I'm sitting across from my friend Marcus at this coffee shop, and he's telling me about how his dad just got diagnosed with something serious. Heavy stuff, right? And there I am, doing my whole empathy routine. I'm leaning forward because I read somewhere that leaning forward shows engagement. I'm maintaining eye contact because that's what all the crap online says to do. I even threw in a sympathetic head tilt that I'd practiced in the mirror. But here's the thing. While I'm doing all this performance art, my brain is literally somewhere else. I'm thinking about the email I need to send later, wondering if I left my laptop charger at home, and trying to remember if I have that meeting at 3 or 4. Marcus stops mid-sentence, looks at me with this expression I'll never forget, and says, "Dude, are you even here right now?" That conversation, I murdered it in cold blood. Now, before we go any further, do me a favor. If you're finding value in what I'm sharing here, hit that subscribe button for Confident Connection Lab. Trust me, we're gonna dive deep into this stuff, and you're not gonna wanna miss what's coming. All right, let's keep going. Here's what I learned the hard way, and this is gonna save you so much embarrassment and lost friendships. We're hardwired as human beings to detect fake empathy and fake care with terrifying accuracy. It's like we have this built-in radar that goes off when someone's performing emotions instead of feeling them. Your micro expressions, the tiny muscle movements in your face that you can't control, they give you away every single time. Your tone of voice, the way you pause or don't pause, the energy behind your words, all of it broadcasts whether you're genuinely present or just going through the motions. And people pick up on this stuff without even consciously realizing it. They just know something feels off, something feels wrong, and suddenly they don't trust you anymore. I used to be obsessed with finding the perfect techniques for showing care. I'd watch videos, read articles, make lists of the 10 things you should say, or the 15 body language tricks that prove you're listening. But you know what? All of that was making the problem worse, not better. Because here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. You cannot fake genuine care. You can't perform your way into making someone feel valued. It doesn't work like that. Genuine care isn't a technique you apply or a skill you turn on and off like a light switch. It's an attitude, it's an approach, it's a fundamental shift in how you show up in conversations with other human beings. So what changed for me? What pulled me out of this fake care trap that I dug myself into? It started when I stopped asking, what should I do to look like I care? And started asking, how do I actually show up as someone who genuinely gives a damn about this person in front of me? That shift in question, that shift in intent, it changed everything. I realized that all those years I'd been approaching conversations like they were performances where I needed to hit my marks and say my lines. But people don't want a performance, they want presence. They want to feel like they matter, like their words are landing somewhere real, like the person across from them is actually there. Before we dive into exactly how to do this, I'm genuinely curious. Drop a comment below and let me know where you're watching this from. Seriously, I love seeing where this message is reaching people, whether you're watching from your bedroom at 2 in the morning, or on your lunch break, or wherever you are right now. Let me know in the comments. So yeah, I learned this lesson the hard way, through dozens of failed conversations and relationships that could have been deeper if I'd just been real from the start. The fake care trap is real, it's destructive, and it's something most of us fall into without even realizing it. But the good news? Once you understand that genuine care starts with your attitude and your intent, everything else starts to fall into place. And that's exactly what we're going to explore in the next part of this journey together. So here's where everything shifted for me, and I mean everything. After that disaster with Marcus at the coffee shop, after realizing I'd been faking my way through conversations for years, I did what any anxious person with internet access does. I went down a research rabbit hole that lasted weeks. I'm talking about a 100-page document of notes, articles from psychologists, videos from therapists, the whole deal. And buried in all that information, I found this one concept that completely transformed how I show people I care. It's called active listening. And I know what you're thinking because I thought the same thing. You're thinking, oh, great, another generic communication tip that everyone already knows about. But hear me out, because what I discovered about active listening isn't what you think it is. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah was this person I'd been casually dating for about 3 months, and one night she calls me clearly upset about something that happened with her sister. Now, the old me, the fake care version of me, would have done the whole performance. I would have said, and that's tough, while simultaneously scrolling through my phone or planning what I was gonna say next. But I just learned about this active listening thing, and I decided to actually try it. Like really try it. So I put my phone in another room, I sat down, and I did something that felt completely unnatural at first. I listened with such intensity that it almost hurt my brain. I wasn't just hearing her words, I was trying to understand the emotion behind every sentence, the meaning beneath the surface. When she paused, instead of jumping in with advice or changing the subject, I reflected back what I heard. I said things like, so it sounds like you're feeling betrayed because your sister promised she'd be there and then bailed at the last minute, is that right? And something incredible happened. Sarah got quiet for a second, and then she said, yes, exactly that. That's exactly how I feel. That conversation lasted 2 hours, and by the end of it, we'd gone deeper than we had in the entire 3 months before. Here's what active listening actually is, and why it's so different from the crap advice you find online. Active listening isn't about nodding at the right times or maintaining eye contact, though those things can help. It's about creating such a focused presence that the other person feels like they're the only person in the universe that matters right now. It's about listening not to respond, but to genuinely understand. And the key tool that changed everything for me was paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is when you take what someone just said and you repeat it back to them in your own words, not like a parrot, but in a way that shows you actually processed what they're telling you. So if someone says, I've been so stressed at work because my boss keeps piling on projects and I feel like I'm drowning, you don't say, yeah, work sucks. You say something like, it sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed because the workload keeps increasing and you're not getting the support you need. See the difference? One response shuts the conversation down. The other opens it up and makes the person feel truly heard. But here's where most people mess this up. And I messed it up too at first. You can't just paraphrase like a robot. You can't turn active listening into another technique that you perform without genuine intent. Remember what we talked about in the first part? Intent matters. If you're paraphrasing, just to look like a good listener, people will sense that and they'll shut down. But if you're paraphrasing because you genuinely want to make sure you understand what they're going through, because you actually care about getting it right, that sincerity comes through and it creates this incredible bond. I learned this from studying Carl Rogers, this legendary psychologist, who basically invented the therapeutic approach built on active listening. Rogers discovered that when people feel truly heard, not just superficially acknowledged, but deeply understood, it changes them. It helps them process their own emotions better. It makes them feel less alone. And it builds this foundation of trust that's unshakable. Let me give you the practical breakdown of how I use active listening now to show people I genuinely care. First, I eliminate distractions. I put my phone away, I turn off the TV, I make it clear through my actions that this conversation matters. Second, I ask curious questions, not interrogating questions, not questions designed to make me look smart, but questions that come from genuine curiosity about their experience. Things like, how did that make you feel? Or, what was going through your mind when that happened? Third, I paraphrase and reflect back what I'm hearing, checking to make sure I'm understanding correctly. And fourth, this is crucial. I resist the urge to jump in with my own stories or advice, unless they specifically ask for it. Because here's the thing, when someone's sharing something vulnerable with you, they don't need you to fix it or relate it back to yourself. They need to feel like their experience matters, like their feelings are valid, like someone finally gets it. I'll be real with you. When I first started practicing active listening like this, it felt exhausting. It takes mental energy to be that present, to focus that intensely on another person. But you know what happened? The more I did it, the more natural it became. And the results were absolutely wild. My friendships got deeper. My romantic relationships became more intimate and connected. Even casual conversations with strangers started feeling more meaningful. Because when you listen to someone with genuine care and attention, when you make them feel like what they're saying actually matters, you're giving them a gift that most people never receive. You're showing them that they're worth your time, your focus, your energy. And that builds trust faster than any technique or trick ever could. So here's what I want you to take away from all of this. Showing genuine care isn't about memorizing the right things to say or mastering perfect body language. It's about shifting your entire approach to conversations. It's about showing up with the intent to understand rather than the intent to impress. It's about active listening that comes from a place of real curiosity and empathy. Try this the next time someone shares something with you. Put away the distractions, ask curious questions, paraphrase what you're hearing, and just be present. You'll be amazed at how differently people respond to you. And if you want more content like this, more deep dives into building genuine connections and transforming your relationships, make sure you're subscribed to Confident Connection Lab. Trust me, we're just getting started, and the tools I'm going to share with you will change how you interact with every single person in your life. This stuff works, I promise you that, too.